Then this is the outline for my presentation for today. And first, I'm just going to talk about the introduction, and then I will explain the motivation and context of the project, and I will show you the game design, and then I will show you the data collection part and some initial results, and then the initial and then the evaluation and finally future work. So we'll get started with the introduction. And computer-assisted language learning has been around since 1960s. It has made advances since the start of the 21st century, particularly mobile-assisted language learning. And there are more and more language learning applications nowadays, for example, Duolingo and Memorize and Bubble, especially Duolingo. Duolingo integrates gamification into language learning, and it turns out to be successful. So according to Duolingo's annual report, more than 1.1 million users are actively learning Irish through the app, which is quite good considering the number of native Irish speakers. It makes Irish the 16th most popular language for English speakers to learn, and it indicates there's a appetite for core resources for Irish. And it is worth noting that the difference of this game between this game and Duolingo is that Duolingo is mostly based on a translation pedagogy, while our game is kind of based on reading and storytelling pedagogy. And it's also kind of more like a game compared to Duolingo and as well. And so so many studies have shown that games can be used as a tool for learning. And the idea of game-based language learning becomes popular in recent years. Research has shown that games can be supportive for language learning, especially L2 vocabulary. And games can be used to motivate students and promote learning. The advantage of gaming is that it focuses on performance rather than testing or competence. So for instance, game may be more like people probably are more willing to read text and game-related text, for example, like in-game text or supplementary materials for game support purposes, in order to win a game instead of reading a linear text assigned to them for exam or test. And motivation. So there are three reasons why we're doing this. Firstly, so we would like to encourage Irish learners and make Irish learning more enjoyable. And secondly, spelling errors are a constant problem for learners of Irish. So due to the opaque nature of Irish orthography, the game will focus on some lexical features of the language and also reading as well. Moreover, we are creating some digital language resource templates for less commonly taught languages. And we're looking at the context behind our project. So nowadays, Irish language learning and teaching are facing many challenges from social, cultural, and linguistic aspects, like many other low-resourced languages or endangered languages in the world. And the table here shows the learning challenges that Irish is facing. So it's actually not surprising because only 1.5% of the population claim to use Irish daily. And I'm going to talk about the game design. So the current project is actually based on my previous research with Dr. John Chamberlain. And the Cipher, the game Cipher was originally designed for English for detecting errors in text through gamification and crowdsourcing. And according to the player feedback, it also has the potential to facilitate language learning. we designed the language tasks and integrate them with game elements. So language tasks includes noticing, reading, and writing. And the game theme is fairy tales and Irish mythology. And the idea behind this is that research has shown that translated international fairy tales can help to encourage children to read, and folklore or cultural related elements may help indigenous language learners reconnect to the spirit of the language. So I'm going to talk about the text. So the game text, the texts in the game are selected Irish folklore written by school children back in the 1930s from the National Folklore Collection. Some of the texts are recently digitalized in another project called Dukas. And I actually saw this project presented on Monday in another workshop, Celtic and language technology workshop. And so we also include some international children's stories and translated into Irish. And based on these digitalized texts, we then use Irish NLP tools to process the text combined with manual editing. And the picture on the right is the NLP pipeline behind this. So basically we have Irish text, and then we pre-process it and clean the text, remove those, some punctuations or some expressions which is outdated. We have to standardize it a bit as well. And then we put it through the Irish POS tagger, and then we got the POS text, and we have to analyze the text. We have to level the text, and then we put the text into our game engine. So basically, the player need to first find errors in the given encoded text, and then they need to find ciphers which created the errors. Ciphers modify some words in the text using certain rules before it's shown to player, and this is the game element of cryptology or stenography. And these are some of the ciphers in the game. You can see the picture on the right. And the idea, for example, some ciphers generate errors which are specific to Irish. For example, like accent bomb and lunar eclipse. The idea behind the accent bomb is that in Irish, learners can easily lose the accent of letters in a word, and lunar eclipse is about word gender in Irish. And other ciphers generate nonsense errors, which are not typical Irish errors, but make the game more interesting. And so when players start the game, firstly, players need to find the errors in the text. You can see the picture on the right, and those highlighted words, and they are errors. And cipher errors are generated by ciphers, and you can find certain rules behind these errors. So all the errors are randomly generated each time, and a player can hardly see the same game twice. They might see the same text, but there will be a different, there will be different errors in it. And the back icon there, and the little creature, and back icon will just display the number of errors still left in the text. And then players need to find the ciphers according to the errors they identified earlier. And for example, in this case, the picture on the right, you can see the errors, 3 errors, and here like ANN is an error, and the correct form is ANN, and then you have other two errors, which these 3 errors here, the last letter has all been repeated, so it's double tail the cipher. And we also have a game feature, which is to provide players with game hints. See the picture bottom right. For example, we can highlight certain words in the text and help them find certain ciphers. The reason why we are doing this is that we hope they will notice certain language rules as some of the hints are based on lexical features and of the language, for example, word, gender. And you can see the screenshot in the previous slide. We have the text that we have red words and blue words. And so like the masculine and feminine words are highlighted with different colors. And this is to encourage noticing through the use of color. And the coding of the color is integrated with mythological elements, and just in order to avoid bias, like masculine is blue and the red is feminine, like that kind of bias. Then we will ask players to continue the story and encourage them to write something in Irish and to be able to continue the story. And if, for example, if they failed, they need to continue the folklore tale. Otherwise, they will kind of they will lose the game. And we have a storyline as well. So if they don't continue, they probably have to use the token to get away with that. And last, this is the storytelling element in the game. And lastly, we show players their performance. Errors and their corrections will be displayed clearly in this stage, the performance stage. And player will know which errors they've found in green and which errors they've missed in red. And at the end of the game, we invite players to fill out a survey asking for their opinions and for further data collection. And so I'm just going to skip this slide. So data collection and initial result. We conducted data collection in a primary school in Dublin. And for data collection, in 9 classes, more than 150 participants played the game, and 64 participants who fill out the game, fill out a survey after playing the game. The initial results, the reviews with users indicate the game is fun to play and helpful to the Irish. Data analysis are mainly from 2 aspects. So we analyzed the text written by the learners and formed a small learner corpus. Also here, player data, we mean annotations. So basically each click of a word in the game is considered as an annotation. And the diagram on the right is the entire NLP pipeline in this project. And the red part is just the data analysis procedure. So the learner corpus, so initial analysis of the players' text indicate that there was actually a low percentage of text, and only 16% that were in Irish and relevant to the story. And the most common type of text was in Irish, but not relevant to the story, and about 39%, while 18% was Irish junk text. And this is to be improved in the future. By analyzing players' annotations, we get to know what errors the learners may be easier to notice or ignore. And this information may help to inform the teaching or learning of the language. This can also tell us if the Cipher's difficulty matches players' actual perception, as each Cipher is leveled in the game. And we also would like to know like players' performance at these Ciphers, and we can adjust them. And there were also some comments from the students, and some very interesting insight from these comments can be found in the paper. Game evaluation. And so the evaluation and user experience study were analyzed from the aspect of gaming experience, learning experience, adaptivity, and usability. And according to a 4-dimension evaluation framework, we conducted a study based on user experience, and this part of work was published recently in the game system workshop and under ACM multi-media system conference. More details are included in this paper if you are particularly interested in game user experience study. And these are some of the questions we asked the participant in the survey. And as you can see, some of the most positive responses and like regarding gaming experience and learning experience, and we also got other like adaptivity. So from the result, we can see that some of the most positive responses indicate the game was fun to play and has encouraged students to learn the language. And finally, future work. So we hope to obtain more data and feedback from both teachers and students. So we actually tried two schools. Actually, one school a formal kind of two formal sessions, but it's a it's an English medium school. So actually students they speak English in the school, and so their Irish is relatively poor than an Irish medium school students. And we hope to try other experiment in different kind of schools, and we would like to add more folklore tags and more ciphers related to the Irish lexical features, because the game can be easily reconfigured and can be focused on other lexical features or other features of the language, like initial mutations or something else. And we would also like to try and integrate other existing NLP tools for Irish, for example, Garbet, in the game. And we would also like to apply this tool to other less commonly taught languages, or endangered languages, for example, Nahuatl. And so here's a screen of a Nahuatl version of Cipher game. And Nahuatl it's an endangered language from El Salvador, and so they don't have NLP tools available. So we have to manually do the POS tagging, and then so it's quite difficult compared to Irish, and it's still kind of in progress, and this is the reference and Google Market. And thank you very much. And so before I finish, I would like to thank the reviewers who reviewed our paper and gave us very brilliant suggestions, and also people who participate in the project, and also my founder at the SFI Center for Research Training in Digital Enhanced Reality, short for DREAL. And thank you.